was like, honey, you just gotta buy them. She looked fabulous.
Really?
You know, I hope she had the
What
money
kind
to
of
buy
boots
it.
were they?
God, sexy as fuck. They went up to here. They had they had a tall, skinny heel. They
Where
had
was this?
at Home Goods these leather boots that went up to here.
Really?
Yes, like something like Angelina Jolie would wear in her late 20s to the
I thought
club.
they just did
Oh,
like
there was a Marshalls. There
furnishings.
was a Marshalls connected to it.
Oh, oh,
So
oh.
you know, it was half Home Goods, half Marshalls.
Marshalls.
And she looked fabulous, and I was like, oh, bro, you gotta buy those. She looks so good
What'd
in
she
them.
say?
She was like, really? And I was like, yes. You look fabulous.
And don't get mad at me when you can't walk later.
Oh, I overheard her. She says they're comfortable.
Really?
I hope she bought. Look
Huh.
amazing.
Nice. How old
Sure.
was she? In her early 20s?
She was around my age, I think.
Yeah. By
You
her
know?
looks, late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
They're,
She looks so
she'll
cute.
have bunions.
Oh, of
She won't be
course.
comfortable anymore.
Worth it. Like Celine Dion says, you know.
I have to say no, not worth it. You know what I wish I would have done?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I'd have worn flat shoes all through high school
Mm-hmm.
when I had to wear a dress every day,
Mm-hmm.
and I put on high heels.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have stopped wearing high heels through my 20s.
You put them on
so
that
that
photo.
so that in my 30s when I was really hot,
Mm-hmm.
I would have the heels then.
There's
Because high heels are wasted on the young.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of girls who don't have proper high heel knowledge. They wear bedroom heels to the dinner date, and they wear the dinner date heels to the club.
Fuck her bedroom heels.
Girl, it's heels that you wear when you get your sex on. That's the only time you wear it. You wear it just to look cute for 20 seconds, and then you pop them off.
Because you're desperate. I mean,
Oh no,
because men are.
it's part of the performance. It's for you and for him.
Alessandro, por favor.
And the dinner date heels.
I need a lip balm.
Those heels you wear it from when you get out to the car, and then you get to the table and you sit down. That's the only time you fucking wear it.
Wait. Hey, get out to the car.
You get out the car and you walk to the table, and that's the max amount of walking
You
you should
get
be doing on
out
them.
the car.
You get out the car.
Is that like a Louisiana thing?
What?
Instead of out of the car, you say out the car. Out the car.
Yeah, you get out the car.
Out the car.
Out the
Is
car.
that a Boston? Is that Bostonian?
Get out the car. Get out the fucking car. Okay, let's do
So
this.
how are you, Miss Maisel?
That's right.
That's right.
You know, I was thinking about that earlier today too, and I was like, you're totally like the manager, and then I'm Miss Maisel, little princess.
I'm like the manager of what?
Miss Maisel has a manager. It's another woman.
Okay, but I've never seen this woman, so now you're worrying me.
She's cool.
Because most people are wrong about me.
Okay, well watch the show, and you can call me and be like, yeah, you're wrong.
You're precious. I am thinking about watching Miss Maisel because
it's so good.
You brought it up and you said it was so good.
Yes. You're gonna hate Joe at first in the show, but then
Joe?
Yeah.
Joe?
And then you he was scummy to me at first, but then he really warmed up to me.
You know, my first husband's name was Joe.
Really?
Yeah, and I still hate him.
Well, he earned it, so.
Yeah.
How are you, Professor?
I'm liking the smell that is wafting off of this delicious. It makes me want some port.
Oh, yummy.
How about you? Does this make you want port?
For me, I'm not a wine fan, but I like to imagine in a certain fantasy, I'm someone who likes wine. I don't want to be someone who drinks wine, but I want to be somebody who likes wine. You know?
I just realized a person can't like this from the side like that.
And that reminds me, I know you guys are there, but you can wait. Our moment comes
Where's our
first.
music, dude?
Oh, yeah. Our moment comes first, and then you guys will pop up.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the beautiful people in the audience. The beautiful watchers at home.
Nobody's watching this.
Fucking right.
Yeah, we got 3 followers. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. You know, this is just for our mental delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, we're just like having fun.
Yeah, the only people that really watch this show are the Barbie.
We're just middle-aged old people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only people that really watch this are the Barbie figures we make watch. So, you know.
Right.
We strap them to a chair and make them watch our show.
Not really. Sounds like a lot of work. I'll leave the BDSM to you.
No.
No, you're too lazy too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, you're doing all the work.
Yeah.
But leave me an arm because I have to be able to clock you if I need to.
Yeah, BDSM is for people who don't have allergies and skin irritation. But you
I
know,
hear that.
for the fantasy of it, we're back. I'm D. That's the professor.
That's right.
We had a very long fucking summer.
Fuck that summer.
Summer's hot no matter where you fucking
summer,
are.
$400 a month electric bill.
Exactly. Oh my fucking god.
Fuck the summer.
Feels like we're in fucking Guatemala. Oh my god.
I talked to a student of mine earlier. You know, my tattoo artist.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "It's 62 here." I'm like, "That's nice." And in my head, I'm going, "What the fuck, you guys?"
That makes me want to commit murder.
Why are you screwing us?
Like, it's just, it's gross, it's icky, and you know.
I don't think I've left the house for 3 months.
It was horrible. Oh my god.
Except to drown my plants.
You know, it was disgusting. You know, if you ever wondered what it felt like to be a ball sack,
I can imagine.
live in a summer in America. But you know, before we work ourselves into a hot flash, we are here to talk about another spiritual topic today. Would you like to tell them what the topic is today?
Yeah. Do we introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
This time?
Yeah. I'm D. That's the professor.
Oh, okay.
You know.
D is a premier psychic in our town.
If you say so.
Yes, you are. A burgeoning psychologist.
Don't tell him too much.
That's right.
You know, I haven't gotten to that part of the performance.
Oh, yeah. He has entered his psychology program. I'm so proud of him.
Guys, thank you so much.
You're very
welcome. Helped me
welcome.
very much to get into it. They pushed me, and I'm very excited to break into that field.
Who pushed you?
Professor over here.
That's right.
Professor pushed me.
That's
you know?
right. I don't do pronouns. No pronouns over here.
You
get old.
I'm so like, tempted to do a poll over they to see do y'all call people randomly they and just see what they say.
Nobody calls people they unless it's a pronoun.
But besides that, whatever town the professor is, you know, they're an author.
Where's our sprite minion?
Sprite minion. They're a psychologist. They're a professor. You know, they're an accredited author. You know, they have got the works, and all the titles aren't coming to my mind, but they're worth.
Boy, I don't know if I can handle that. Did I?
Is it pause?
No, I stopped it.
Okay.
No, that was playing. Now I'm stopped. Oh. Okay, if it says stop recording, does that mean it's recording?
No, is the pause button blue?
Yes.
Then it's pause.
Okay, but it's like giving me a prompt, stop recording. It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like stop recording.
I need a taco.
This is going to take some time. Okay.
Oh, okay, so you're not.
Fuck.
You look really great tonight.
That's fucking right. And you look very esteemed as well. Just take the compliment.
This takes a lot more work than a person can imagine.
Yeah.
Especially when I've got my extra menopausal distribution of the belly love.
I love the professor so much. You know, they're like a walking museum piece, but interactive.
That's right.
You know, it's like
that's right.
You know when when you go to the museum and you press that little button and you bring the phone up to your ear, and then it's like, would you like to hear how early sailor used to sound? And then the professor starts talking.
Goddamn straight. Woo!
Right.
It's on fire. Wow. That was. Whew.
Happens.
That was a moment.
Ooh.
Smoke in the eye. So I just want to tell you guys out there that we have had to fight hell and high water to make this video.
Yes.
We've been trying to make this video for a long time.
Yes. Oh my
It's been a long, wet, sweaty summer.
That's fucking right.
And it's been very, very bad. It has been very, very bad.
That's right.
That's right. That's why we never leave the house when it's 50 degrees in the house.
And if you guys want to sit there and bitch, that's not our fucking problem. You go and fucking sit there and start a video yourself.
That's right. And what was I about to say?
Whatever comes next. Whatever comes next.
I was about to say something.
I'm
That's
sure it'll
okay.
come
Just
back.
say early dementia.
Early dementia. That's my
Early
favorite flavor of
dementia.
alcohol.
That's right.
That's right.
Anyway, do you want to tell them the topic tonight?
Yes. So the topic for tonight is we're going to be focusing again on a spiritual matter. We're going to be focusing on more the complexities. It's going to start
You're
off with
sounding all
complexity.
intellectual and shit.
Sorry. We're gonna be discussing Christ, how to recognize it, how to recognize
Christ?
who manifested the space. Exactly.
Exactly.
So they can tell me when to shut the fuck up.
So
You
what's the
can't.
topic tonight?
The election.
The election? No, that's not the topic tonight.
That's what you told me.
I'm sorry, he's had too much to drink. No,
Sorry.
no. The topic is distraction.
Distractions. See?
Distraction. See, you just got distracted.
See?
You didn't even notice.
See, I'm the perfect example. No.
Right?
Yeah.
So, no, he's astute. He has cred. That's why he's here. So, that's why they are here. See what I did there? That was adorable, wasn't it? I'm so adorable. Anyway, the election is like the current Barnum and Bailey circus, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
it's a lot of people are getting very upset. And the main thing that spiritual people need to remember is to don't let it distract you.
Yeah.
Do not let it distract you. If you've got whatever goals that you've got, meditation, your career, your burgeoning career, your school, and all this stuff, you need to just focus on that and not focus on the election. I mean, figure out who you're going to vote for if you're very adamant about it.
Yeah.
And then put it aside. Because what are the enemy's weapons?
Distraction.
And chaos.
Distraction.
Distraction and chaos.
I notice when I got to do what I need to do, whether it's, more spiritually attuned, like I'm cleaning my energy, or I have to focus on more real world stuff, I just, it's like a movie starts playing in my head. And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? I got to focus on my shit right now. And then, what better movie than election right now?
That's right.
So.
Except it's not a fun movie.
Oh God, no.
It's very real. But this is not a political platform.
Oh no.
So we're not going to get too much into that. But...
No. It's right now.
So yeah, that's the topic tonight. And not to be distracted. Also, I want to bring together or tell you that the last of the timelines, the 24 timelines that I've been talking about for the last 4 years in gatherings and on this podcast, is that all of your other persons, all of your other selves are now coming together as one. And so your spiritual abilities are going to be amped up. Your cognition is going to be amped up. You may even look at some of the relationships in your life and go, why? Why did
this happen?
Why am I with this person? And that can include your parents.
Oh yeah.
Your siblings. That can include anybody or anything. Even your job. You may just kind of wake up one day and go, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I don't want to teach middle school. It's abusive. I don't want to do this or that. I want to do this other thing. Just think about that movie Jet Li and the One. That's what's happening right now. Okay?
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I completely agree. Every generation got its little distraction. I know I'm the youngster here, but back in the 70s, and you history Nazis can fact check me all you want. I don't got the timelines exactly right, but I don't give a fuck. My point is, every generation had their little panic crisis, had their little era of distraction. They had Cold War.
You're right about that.
Yeah, they had World War II.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying World War II was not serious. It was a big fucking deal.
Right.
But, every generation has its ends of the world distraction. And, maybe this election is our end of the world distraction right now. And, how many people who could have gone on to done great things for humanity, whether it was curing cancer, coming out with the next best psychological development, inventing the next best thing that's going to help humanity as a whole, had a panic attack over the fucking election, over nuclear Cold War, whatever the fuck it was, and they weren't able to go on and create what they need to create because they were too bound up in these little end time distractions, or whatever you want to call it. And so I agree exactly
yeah,
with the professor. And what else do you have to say about that?
there's this verse in Revelation, and it talks about, and I've been watching that show, The Chosen, and it's actually very good. And I feel, after studying theology for many years, over a decade, actually probably 20 years, that it's actually very, very accurate. And the actor who's doing The Chosen, who's Jesus, is really, really drawing through the Master, Son of God, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I think focusing on what you believe in, meditation. I'll never stop talking about meditation. That's how I became enlightened back in 1995. And just being able to connect with Father and being able to connect with the angel Gabriel, that's who I work with, who technically would be the Holy Spirit, and to the Hindus, that would be Shiva, like the god Shiva, who, I don't know if you know about the god Shiva.
A little bit.
He has no beginning and no end. Who else has no beginning and no end? Christ. Who else has no beginning and no end? The Father. They've always been, and they always will be. And that's what when you do a deep dive into these different gods and you want to know who you should serve, although we're not here to serve God, we're here to serve each other. Like these videos, like we're doing these videos. And that's more what it's about. When Jesus came, he was here, he served, but he also did some serious kicking ass.
Yeah.
And I just want to say something. I just want to shout out to the people who, there's all these ethnic people who take pot shots. I mean, white people, it's pretty bad right now. It's like white people are getting judged for everything under the sun you can even imagine. Well, why is none of that judgment turned toward people who murdered Jesus? Right? Rome and the Jewish nation. And I'm not anti-Semitic, but how would the Muslims feel if somebody murdered Muhammad? But Muhammad wasn't murdered. He was able to, well, they say he ascended, right? So he was able to ascend.
Yeah.
And then the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah, well, supposedly he hasn't even come yet. Well, but how would they feel if somebody murdered him when he did come? And I don't know if people really think about that. They think about, well, the Christian religion, who usually has to be the one to take it in the shorts. And, oh yeah, Christians don't get any mercy, just like white people don't get any mercy. And this platform is not about, that, but I'm just wondering, he had to die in order to bring salvation to us, because Christ and the Holy Spirit are like twin flames. They're like one person. That's why he had to leave, so that the Holy Spirit could come in and be with us. So it's like we're with Christ and we're with the Father because of the Holy Spirit. So it's like everything is right here, right now, and that's why you can be filled with the Spirit, etc., etc. But what would these other people do? Does anybody in this world ever think about, well, but the Messiah, the prophet, or the God, or whatever, of the Christian people was murdered? And it's almost like nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just for saying. Now, there is a Muslim, I love this, I love the Sufis. The Sufis are the yogis of the Muslim people, okay? So Hinduism has in the least 6 branches. Okay, you've got the ones who love God, the Bhakti yogis. You've got the Raja yogis, which are for the Brahmin caste, and the Raja yogis are mind over matter. They're the real hardcore yogis. That's what I am. I'm a Raja yogi, but I'm also a Christian, just more of a shaman. I'm more a Native American sort of, burning bowls and things like that. You got the karma yogis who are worried about their actions. So they like pick up trash and stuff.
Yeah.
They do things to like pay it forward all the time.
Yeah.
That's how they overcome their negative karma. And then you've got the Nani yogis, who all they do is study like reincarnation and all the gnosis and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
if you want to compare these gods to each other or compare religions, then Shiva is a storm god, and his father Rudra is a storm sky god. And I've said this kind of stuff before. Goes back to all the way back to Sumeria 450,000 years ago with Enlil. So Enlil ends up being Shiva. And Enlil ends up being Adad and Teshub and Quetzalcoatl in Mexico, the storm god.
Aztec.
And in Aztec religion. And then Enlil ends up being Rudra, Shiva, Parvati. And so if we get everything aligned with their function, right? And then he's also Horus. Enlil is Horus in Egypt, right? So there's nothing left out. Nobody's left out of this. But I love the Sufis. They have this parable about this guy, and he's like a yogi who became enlightened. And that Sufis are awesome. They are the yogis of the Muslim religion, right? The yogis are the mystics, okay? Sufis are the mystics of Islam. Yogis are the mystics of Hinduism. And Christians don't really have a mystic thing. They just call it mystic Christianity.
Yeah.
So, but this guy, he says, I am God, right? And he's like having this moment. He's like, I'm connected to God. I'm God. All this, and then the other Muslims, they chop off his hands, they chop off his feet, and they watch him bleed to death. So he was murdered. So there's been plenty of people who were murdered. Maybe he was, an Islamic Messiah. But you know who the Islam calls the Messiah of the world? Guess. Take one guess.
I got no idea.
You got no idea?
I got no idea.
I want to hear your Southern accent. If you guys want to hear a Southern accent, I want to hear a Southern accent.
What do you want me to say?
Let's talk about drains.
Drains?
Just anything's going to trigger.
Drain? My drain?
The sink. Yeah, there we go.
I'm trying to think. my synapses.
That's right. There we go.
My synapses are very slowed down by whatever this concoction is.
Oh, yeah. I P. Diddy'd your ass. Oh. You won't have any memory of this. Any recollection. I saw that movie.
Too soon.
I saw that movie. It was called, God damn it. Kyle MacLachlan, she's saying, am I in any danger? Blink twice. She goes, am I in danger? And blink twice. And then Kyle MacLachlan is sitting there going, I mean, that movie, that's what P. Diddy did. They basically took these people to the island. They'd already been to the island before.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, this same woman had been to the island before. And they're giving them copious amounts of this shit, this flour, this perfume, and they're lacing this flour in everything. And this really great island lady, I don't know, she was Indian, and she's giving them snake venom, and the snake venom cancels the flour, and so they're all being raped, and they all start remembering all the shit.
Oh my god!
It is not a fuck fest anymore. It is a murder fest where all the women, they basically start remembering, the one girl who remembers, right? I can't remember the name of the actress, and she makes all these others do the shot, tequila shot with the snake venom, and they all start remembering that they've been brutally raped and all this stuff. And then anyway, I won't tell you the very ending. It's pretty good. I really like the ending of that. But that's basically what the Diddy did.
The Diddy did.
The Diddy did. So that's a Diddy drink. Kidding.
Diddy
Am I
is
serious?
Diddy. Oh my god.
Yeah, and this show is not about that. We're not going to sit here and be all like, what was her name? Who was the critic? Oh, well, we've got Kathy. What was her name? The redheaded comedian? Griffith.
Yeah.
We're not doing that, and we're not doing the whole Joan Rivers shit, right? But I'm just gonna say, haha. Yeah.
Ain't no word.
Huh?
Ain't no word in that dictionary for him.
But that's the whole thing. The whole adrenochrome, Hollywood, adrenochrome, Pizzagate, and they're drinking baby's blood. They're drinking kids' blood. This is why I believe they're trying to force women to deliver children, because they're running out of children to torture and drink their blood.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But this show isn't about that either. I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah. Oh.
Show's about whatever the fuck we want it to be about. What was your what stood out to you in The Chosen?
I really like, and I used to have a conversation with a friend who was a life coach, and she recommended that show to me, and she like, you should really check out the show. She was like, I really like the way they humanized him, his followers, and I watched it and I was like, yeah, because I grew up Catholic, and it was so hard to relate to Jesus, because it's like this large in life figure they put on a pedestal, and it's like Jesus loves you with his whole heart, and he loves you forever, but if you don't do this and this exactly, he don't love you anymore. I'm like, what?
He's gonna kick your ass.
Exactly. And it's like this makes zero fucking sense. But when I watched the show, I was like, oh yeah, this isn't some guy cosplaying as a human. This is a human. It's not some guy in a fucking bear costume.
Right.
It felt a lot more real and a lot more authentic. And it's like, I with the apostles too, they felt like real people. Like,
Yeah.
I can relate to the dumbass way they're being dumbasses. I can totally relate to that. And it's when you kind of praise like the contributors of a book that has kind of changed the world in a way that can never go back to the way it was, it's like your brain automatically, it's like these guys are like the Sigmund Freud of the spiritual world times 1,000. And then it's like you sit there and you're like, well, I can't relate to that.
Do you mean the Sadducees and the Pharisees?
No, I mean more like the gospel writers, like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Right.
It's like the way they write it, it's like the way the church presents them, it's like, oh yeah, these guys are human, but you'll never be like them. And so watching a show, it's
That's
like
interesting. That's a Catholic belief, that you'll never be like them.
It's just the way they present them. It's like they praise and they like dick eat the works and the creations of these writers so much that it's like, okay, well, you'll never be these guys. You can read their works all you want, but it's like you'll never be anything like them. And it's like nobody wants to sit in church, or nobody wants to relate or walk in the path of someone they'll never be like. And so what I really like about the show is, like, I've seen the way they act. Hey, there's a lot of times where they act like very questioning idiots.
Even Jesus, he's like, get me the fuck out of here.
Exactly. And it's like there's moments where he's sitting there and it's like I'm trying to turn a frat house into priest. And it's like, what, get me the fuck out of here. What am I gonna do? And it's like, now that I see their kind of more humble beginnings, even though a lot of the show is kind of artistic interpretation based off the actual, works of the book itself, it's still very humbling. And I feel for myself, okay, this is something I can achieve, because it kind of tricks your brain. You're like, this is where they started off, and I feel the same way. I'm starting off in like similar shoes as they were. Kind of, well, I've never done anything like this before. taken a huge leaps of faith.
Mhm.
I
That's huge, right?
exactly.
Come with me and I'll make you fishers of men, and the guy's married.
Exactly. And
Peter's amazing.
it's like leave my wife, leave my career, leave my livelihood to walk in the path of this guy I've just met today.
Mhm.
What the fuck? You know, and I
Well,
feel like
he made the fish, to be fair.
exactly. And I feel like, you know, everybody kind of has their own personal um Peter moment. Peter's a fish guy, right?
Yeah.
So the
I like
Peter
that fish guy.
you know, and it's like, you know, maybe your fish moment might be serving fish fillet at McDonald's, and some random guy who comes up to your counter or woman says the most like profound thing you've ever heard, and then just kind of inspires you to go after what you've always wanted to go after. And I feel like that was true with Peter. I feel like Peter was kind of just, you know, and
I think he was really burned out on the fucking. It's called legalist, legalist. So the Jews back then were very legalist.
Mm-hmm.
They were all about the law.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, Jesus, you're saying this, but why aren't you saying that God is going to come and save us from the Romans?
Mm-hmm.
But they've been bent for a long time, because it's not about war. It's not about killing and the spoils of war and taking little children as wives and marrying that child at the age of 9, Muhammad, right? It's not about all this legalistic. It's about going with the flow, right? Jesus in that, he's just like totally going with the flow.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I know what'll make a crack in their brains, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about that. Let's make a crack in their brains so I can throw something new in there.
Yeah.
You know, and see what comes out. But yeah, I mean, he's not a legalist.
Yeah, he's like.
But you know, all these MAGA people and all these people, that's legalism. That's legalist Christianity. The very thing Jesus did not want.
Yeah. Gotta be this and this exactly.
And that's what he fought with the Jews in the show about, with the Sanhedrin. And they wanted to kill him because he was basically saying, you fuckers are wrong. And he's arguing with them. And he's just telling them, why would a person, you know, you're rotten inside. And so that's when the beginning. But the thing is, he knows he's going to die.
Yeah.
So Judas is there to basically see through the death of Christ. But that doesn't excuse his behavior, right? Yeah, he accidentally fell into Father's plan. Not the God of the Old Testament, who's Jehovah, who's actually also Yaldabaoth and Satan. In Gnosticism, Secret Book of John, go look that up on the Nag Hammadi Library. But yeah, so I'm sorry. What else were you saying there?
Basically,
I went off on it.
You're good.
Tangent. It's a gym tangent.
We all kind of just have our moments, you know, and we're not sitting here being like, okay, just cast off your entire life and just go do fucking whatever. We're kind of just saying, you know, see through what you feel is true within yourself. You know, don't listen to all the distractions. Don't listen to all that kind of like legalist kind of viewpoint where it's like, it must be this and that, you know, and that's a really shitty thing about legalists. It's like you're turning spiritualism into arithmetic. And it's like, if X doesn't equal Y, then, you know, this is wrong. And it's like, well, there's a lot more to this than just, it's not, you know, always just simple cut in, whatever the fucking phrase is. Clean and cut math. You know, it's something you find for yourself. It's something you discover for yourself. And just like how the apostles had to find their own way through it, you know, everybody's finding their own way through it. You know, of course, there's certain obvious things that are telling you this is not the right thing to do or follow. But,
like, for instance,
it's like, you know, Jesus is not going to sit there and tell you to go murder somebody. You know,
right?
You don't need somebody.
Consider, what is it? I don't remember the address of it in the New Testament. It's like test the spirits to see where they're from.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, you don't need somebody's death to lay the way for your Messiah. You know, so whoever out there is kind of on an extremist view where like we must kill X, Y, and Z for things to happen. Who's telling you that?
Right.
Because you wouldn't have to kind of, and correct me if you feel like I'm being a prairie preacher right now, but it's like I don't think you need
I
to
like that,
necessarily
prairie preacher.
dirty your spirit like that in order to fulfill your purpose on the world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just
One thing that really stands out to me about what you're saying is Matthew chapter 6:33.
mm-hmm.
I'm Googling secretly over here.
Mm-hmm.
But seek you first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. Now, his righteousness could be considered being righteous,
Mm-hmm.
the law,
Mm-hmm.
because let's consider the source. It is Matthew.
Yeah.
And Matthew, according to this show, has got majorly Asperger's. But whenever I have a question about something,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, first, before I get up, I'm going to clear my energy. I'm going to get any shit out of me. I'm a vibrational healer. I'm going to get any shit off of me or out of me that could be screwing with my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so do you want a podcast today? Is it for my highest good to do a podcast today?
Mm-hmm.
And Spirit's like, yeah, but I can trust that because I did all my due diligence,
Mm-hmm.
right? I can talk to Father,
Mm-hmm.
talk to Gabriel, who's the Holy Spirit. I'm just like, okay, show me. And while I'm asking them, should I do a podcast, they're showing me to where my like vampire, like
Yeah.
coattails.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we can be kind of stupid, but it's like we're showing you what to wear, so duh. If we're showing you what to wear to do a podcast, then just put on what we show you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's the proof.
That happened to me in my own personal life today too.
What happened?
I was like kind of praying. I was like, well, you know, I went shopping today. And yes, I went to
Retail therapy.
yes, I went to a Home Goods today.
Okay.
You know, and I was like, well, should I go to the Home Goods here or should I go to the Home Goods there? And I was like, I thought about it and I prayed and I got an image of which specific strip.
That's how I live my life.
And I went there and I got the stuff I was supposed to, you know, and I even did it in the store today. I was
And
like,
you're scanning.
yeah, and I'm like, am I done in this store? And I gotta know, and I'm like, okay, well, what else do I need to buy? And I got an image of which section of the store I should go to, and I got there, and I get like fucking 20 boxes of fucking Legos. So, and then
20?
Well, I'm exaggerating.
Oh my god.
We're like 10 or 11. And
wow, are you into Legos? I didn't know that.
I love Legos so much. Oh my god. That's like my autistic.
Well, thank you for giving our producer some Legos. That was very nice.
I love Legos. You know, it's
cool.
a great way to get your mind distracted so you don't like mind fuck yourself into a hole. I love Legos so much. Especially the medieval sets. Love medieval Lego sets.
Medieval Lego? Do you know I've never had any Legos before?
Oh my god, you gotta get yourself a set. I can give you a little flower one if you want one.
I don't want a flower one. I'd want like a castle.
Oh, Temu.
I know. They sell Legos?
Not official brand Legos.
Oh my god, I spent so much money on Temu this week. Because my birthday is in October 31st.
Yes.
Halloween. Right? What do you... I mean, I can only say don't allow the election to distract you.
Yeah.
You've got 24 of yourselves coming together.
Exactly.
Your clairvoyance is going to kick in. Your third eye is going to kick in. Your psychic abilities. I'm becoming so much more psychic. I'm telling, my son, I'm telling him like what he's thinking.
Yeah.
You know, you're thinking this right now, and he's like going,
Yeah.
And other people, and like you were saying, well, yeah, I'm outside and I'm clearing my energy. I'm like, I know. Because I can feel you, in the street, in your car, clearing your energy.
You know, I'm going to tell you this. I know I'm only 24, but, I've spoken to my parents who are boomers. My dad's about to be 70,
Wow.
So I've heard some of his fears or his generation's fears from back in the day. The world is ending every fucking day in some different way, and you can draw conclusions or connections to revelations in any way you want. There was people fucking drawing conclusions to the Olympics. trying to say, oh, they were this, and the guy riding on the water was a pale horse and all that kind of stuff. Guys, I understand every generation has its own personal connection. Like my dad used to tell me, he said my mom, when they were rolling out Social Security for the first time, and they were rolling out your Social Security number, your 9-digit number, however long it is. She thought that was the mark of the beast.
And it could be.
Exactly.
And we don't even know that it is.
I'm gonna tell you, every generation has its own fear and questions about the apocalypse, and this matches up with Revelation. Don't worry about that.
Well, now they're saying what the World Health Organization, and they're making a one world government, and they're saying they're going to make us take a chip.
Yeah.
That's going to have all of our information. Everything's going to be electronic. Everything's going to be. I mean, do not take a chip.
Yeah.
Because if the gods and our people are aliens, whatever they have in our body, or like what do you call it? Implants or anything. I mean, does anybody ever think that's how they find us? And also, my ex used to tell me, my third ex, who is a very significant shaman, he told me, if they put anything in your body at all, and you're not cooperating with them, all they have to do is send a signal to that implant, and they'll just stop your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Blow up your fucking brain.
Right. And so, and there's nanites in the vaccines. We know that. There's nanites in them. And I had that dream back in 2002 that they were going to be dropping nanites. And so they're trying whatever they can to get their technology into our bodies.
Like, I think you guys, every century there's a huge fucking apocalyptic crisis. Just focus on what you feel like you need to do in this.
That's so wise. I didn't even notice that.
The Aztecs had their oh my god.
Right, the Aztec calendar.
And then the Mormon.
But they figured that thing out. They said it's the end of the current eras. The Aztec calendar is actually the end of the current era. It has nothing to do with the end of the world.
Yeah, and then.
Did you find out about that? Did you hear about that?
I heard about that way back when, and it's like the Salem people. The Salem will be like, we are the New Jerusalem, and we must do this because the apocalypse is about to happen.
Salem.
Yeah. And
Salem.
And it's like...
Did you see that video where they have all these Salems? It was that eclipse. That last huge eclipse. You remember that? I think we did a podcast and we talked about that eclipse. And it's Jerusalem.
Yeah. It's like, guys...
That's a mind-blown situation right there.
This shit is going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And I know the preacher is going to sit up on there in his little pulpit and it's going to be like, not when the time comes, so make sure your soul is clean.
Not even Jesus knows when the time comes.
Exactly. So I'm not saying,
If somebody's making a prediction, then they're full of shit.
Of course.
That's how you know that's the enemy, because they're distracting you. Woo! Heaven's Gate.
I'm not saying go around and be a huge fucking... scourge on humanity and then repent at the last second, but I'm saying don't work yourself into a mind fuck every single day about like, am I keeping my soul clean?
Yeah, meditate.
Exactly.
Focus on you. Like to me every day when I meditate, I'm like, Father, are you here? And I can feel him, and he shows me where he is. I can feel him energetically. And I'm like, Gabriel, where are you? Show me where you are. Okay, fill me with your light that goes way, way out into the universe so that I can know if I'm okay. And then whatever else happens that day happens. It doesn't matter because I already did my check-in.
Exactly.
Right? And I check in every day. I mean, I got to make a call after this to talk about a poor gaslit child from his grandmother.
And,
Full of
guys... It sucks. And, it's...
He's very precocious, very intelligent.
It was I think it was Aldous Huxley who said it. I'm paraphrasing one of his quotes, and don't nail me if I didn't get the right author. But he was talking about...
I didn't study him, so...
He was talking about, like, he had a quote about spiritualism, and he said, again, I'm paraphrasing. He said, finding God is as you find yourself, that is fine. And you find yourself through meditation and through clearing yourself, but also going after what you feel is true to you in your life. And that's how you find God, Father. You find your way to that, your path. So just, don't let all these distractions deter you from your purpose and your path and what you feel like is true for you in this life. And go after it. And then again, there's obvious yeses and obvious nos. Your purpose in this life is to not go around and kill 8,000 people.
No.
No.
And your purpose in life, and I will throw this out, a lot of noobs who start meditating, the first thing they get is they're going to be teaching to thousands of people. That I'm telling you, show me what my future is. And you're like on a stage and you're teaching all these people. Every single time a person who's near enlightenment or close, near to it, and they meditate, I swear to God, it's like, well, I'm going to be a great teacher. And let me tell you, that's the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Until you come into your own mastery by going to the dark night of the soul, where you give up all that shit.
Yeah.
You give it up. It's like teaching to 1,000 people. You're going to become a hermit. You're going to hide in your fucking house.
Yeah.
Because you don't care about that shit anymore.
Exactly.
But the ego is going to show you, because the ego is there.
Mm-hmm.
The ego is always there. You could be giving to the poor. The ego's there. You could be ministering to people at the church. The ego is there taking credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
You could be speaking in tongues. The ego is there. You could be translating tongues. The ego is there.
Mm-hmm.
The ego is always there until you pray for wisdom and until you go into your dark night of the soul, which you have to, which is the actual death of your ego. And it is very painful emotionally, but necessary.
Yeah, and it's not that shit where you take 3 fucking mushrooms and you experience a fucking ego
I know.
death.
Well, you can't, my yogi teacher, Eleanor Hill, she taught me there's no such thing as fake enlightenment.
There's no shortcuts.
You can be a whirling dervish. You can be doing drugs. You can be doing all this shit, but that enlightenment is just a pseudo enlightenment. It's not a real enlightenment. You have to actually do the work, lay down on your bed, cover your eyes, meditate for however long with some kind of music, with theta waves or something. And I did that for 45 days back in 1995.
Yeah.
And I became enlightened. I had cosmic consciousness. Within the year, I had God and unity consciousness. No bullshit. But there's also Zen. There's so many different things to experience spiritually. And none of it leads to your glory. I will say that. If an enlightenment experience leads to you being glorified over Christ or the Father, then it's probably bullshit. We shall bid you adieu until the next time. The evil summer has passed us by.
Yay!